Hey there. Okay, this is Makarov owner. I am doing a little video on 7.62 by 45. This is for the CZ or VZ52 rifle, Czechoslovakian. Okay, so ammunition is very difficult to find. I have a solution that I'd like to share. I have a little drawing right here, and I don't know if you folks can see that very well. I hope so. Basically, this case I made using a 303 die. So that's the sizer die. I bush up the bottom of the case, 0.35, and then I trim it down to the size of 1.77. And then after I do that, I go ahead and put it into my rifle, and I slam the bolt forward really hard in order to make that shoulder just that last little bit that it needs. My trimmer, I'm using a Lee. Just a little power trimmer you put in your drill, and then for the pilot and so forth I'm using the 223, and you have to do that by hand because it'll make your cases too short. Another thing, when you go ahead and run this casing, it's a 220 Swift. When you run this casing up through the 303 die, it will actually adjust that bottom rim for you. So you won't have to do much of anything with it. I turned some of them down. This is one I turned down, and honestly it won't stay in the shell holder very well if you do that. But if you just let the die do the work, it'll do just fine. And then I'm shooting 160 grain Lee bullet that I go ahead and make with a gas check. So it's 160 grain, it's a 311. And anyway, I guess I'll go ahead and shoot one here, and then I'll show you what the brass looks like. Hang on just a second. So I don't know if I can prop this up in such a way people can see. Probably not. I'll try it anyway. Just kind of point it that way and maybe... Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go for that white speck that's over there. And there she is. Okay, and then here's the brass. Once it's been shot, there's the brass. It handled nicely. It doesn't have any deformation. And and I tell you what, this brass is very warm, but it fire formed in really slick. So hope that helps people. This brass is getting crazy to find for 7.62 by 45. But the 220 Swift, use your 303 Brett dies, bush it up 0.35. And what I mean is, what I did was used another bullet casing. I trimmed it down to 0.35, so I'm just using the base. I filled it with lead, so it's creating a spacer. You take out the decapper, and you just go ahead and run it up. And then, you know, the part that's critical is checking from the base to the shoulder and making sure that that base to shoulder length is proper. And that is 1.771 right there. You can see 1.771. And then I necked it. As far as crimping and neck expansion, I used the 7.62 by 39 dies to do the neck only. Do not run it in, and be very careful, you'll wreck your cases. So you use the the 310 or 311 expander that comes with the Lee set, and then you go ahead and crimp, and you can adjust those dies to work just fine with the